Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and what I look at on this, the 20th anniversary of the infamous 7/7 attacks in London. I look at, have we learned from it? Are we safer? And did we actually fix the root of the problem, which many people are uncomfortable talking about? But the root of the problem was Islamic fundamentalists with suicide vests wishing to kill people in London. So that was a horrible day. I'm just going to share some of the footage that happened that day as I discuss the horrors. And on the 7th, there was 4 men later arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment for setting off, they committed suicide. It was later ones that get life imprisonment. They set off, for the first time ever in British soil, suicide vests, which detonated in 3 subway carriages and on a bus. And horrible, 50 odd people died. I think it was 56, including the attackers, and many hundreds injured in a day that shook the world, not just the United Kingdom. But what did we learn from it? These are the men that had made that attack, later identified as Islamic fundamentalists. So where have we gone since then? What happened since? What did we do to make this threat go away? And I don't think we have. I think the threat is still there. And we have to remember that the 7th of the 7th wasn't an isolated single event, which we're often told when subsequent attacks have happened, that it's isolated and it's a lone wolf and all these things. These things were very, very well organised and planned by a group of people, and possibly not only those who took part on that fateful day. But what happened after that was quite incredible. A mere 2 weeks later, these 4 men planted other devices, and I believe it was since we found another the following day, and they were given life sentences for trying to replicate a mere fortnight later what happened on the 7th of the 7th. And if not for their inadequacies as bombers, we would certainly have had more carnage that day. And then another strange thing happened. On the 10th anniversary, these 2 people were arrested and given life sentences for trying to replicate the 7th of 7th attacks on the 10th anniversary, and tried to in a day that would have been very sombre and meaningful for the people of London and the UK in general. These people attempted to replicate it on the 10th anniversary. And I want to remind you that these guys, who were the 22nd attempted replicate bombers of 7/7, one of them, now this is quite topical, one of them actually escaped London before his arrest and fled to Birmingham. And the way he was able to do that was he was dressed in a full burqa, obviously a garment which is causing much debate in our Houses of Parliament, when the safety of many is forgone for the religious beliefs of some. And quite a hot topic, which will probably go on for a lot longer. So between these 10 people and accomplices, because it wouldn't have been restricted to just those 10, every one of them either attempted or was successful in killing and maiming lots of people in the capital of the United Kingdom. And what was bizarre about it, there was a lot of tension at the time, cross-community stuff, I would suggest. And there was this strange thing that Channel 4 done back in 2007, which was 2 years later. They done a survey where almost a quarter of the Muslims that they asked, they believed that the 4 bombers blamed for the attack did not perform them. And that's quite surreal as well, that we have people, and a big massive part of one demographic, who believed that those who were blamed for the atrocities didn't actually carry them out. And there seems to be a lot of that in the UK, where people kind of want to forget the reality and the truth of what happened on that day. And that's quite sad. That really is pretty awful when you actually consider what did happen that day. And I make no apology for sharing some of the disgusting images that you'll see in front of you just now, because we have to remember. And have we sorted it? Well, no, because the people set up to stop these radicalised men and women, called Prevent, we found out later that they tried to do the complete opposite. This was set up for one group of radicalised people, but they tried to rewrite history and tried to rewrite the narrative to suggest that the concerns in the United Kingdom should not be Islamic fundamentalists, but far-right fundamentalists. They inadvertently, or worse, missed out guys like Rudy Cabana, who went on to carry out terrible atrocities in the United Kingdom, because they seemed driven to make us ignore and forget that there's such a thing as Islamic fundamentalism in the United Kingdom. And they're not alone in that. The narrative has been for almost 20 years that this isn't an Islam problem. In fact, the Muslim Council of Britain came out shortly after and did condemn the attacks. But they said that these people were not Muslims. And that kind of gets away from the fact that by saying that these are not true Muslims, which they may not be, it depends on what interpretation of their holy book you want to describe or want to accept, they may not be true Muslims, but they are, and they're carrying it out in the name of. So people who are Muslims who are against this need to speak out about it and act against it. But since then, we've seen things happen in mosques where we've all seen the footage where there was a disturbance near a mosque and the local community leaders were conversing with the police, where the police asked them to return their weapons to the mosques. And that's kind of the narrative. And I know it's a fact that not every Muslim is a terrorist, but every Islamic fundamentalist terrorist is a Muslim. And we need to change the language we use to actually make this thing go away and protect the people from the shores. And I quite believe that there's it's factual, there have been many comments about it, that there have been numerous attempts like this to replicate 7/7, thwarted by our MI5, MI6, whoever it is that does this, and our anti-terror people. So, has it gone away? No. Have we sorted it? Well, we've helped prevent it because we've stopped some attacks going, and we'll never hear the full extent of that. But when you even put out a sort of level-headed video like this, questioning these things, our media, our establishment, etc., term people like me far-right, Islamophobic, racist, and then fascist, and any other term you want to fling at it. And we need to change that language. We need to actually listen to the concerns of the people of the United Kingdom, and the vast majority, I believe, who have similar concerns. Why the amount of immigration, the amount of unfettered immigration, the amount of illegal immigration, the amount of fake asylum seekers that we have in the country. And we need to make sure these people feel that we're at least listening to their problems. Because if you don't listen to people's problems, the pressure builds, the pressure builds, the pressure builds. And what we need groups, even from cross-community groups, to stop driving this narrative of racism, and driving wedges between communities. What we need to do to solve this problem is bring communities together, and that cannot be one-sided as it seems today, where we see lots of Muslim leaders and NGOs, etc., actually drive racism, drive wedges, not bring people together, when most people are normal-minded and are just concerned, as I am, and many more. So if you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up, hit the share, put the comments below. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. But the most important thing of all, unless you're the type of person that wants to try and justify, ignore, or cover up what is a real threat to the population of the United Kingdom, then not you, but everyone else. Have a great day.
Cheery bye now.